so good as breakfast with Christ on the shore. Breakfast will never be better than this, than breakfast with my risen Lord. After an evening of fishing gone bad, Peter and crew felt dismay. Then seeing a man on the shore.
Hello and welcome to our podcast, Come Have Breakfast. I'm Pastor Colson, and today I'm joined by two very dear friends, two pastors from Navajo Nation. I'll go ahead and let the two of you introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your church in Crown Point.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's morning over here on the Navajo Reservation. My name is Matthew Holtsoi. I'm the associate pastor of First Navajo Baptist Church in Crown Point. I've been preaching for 5 years. The Lord called me into the ministry at the age of 16, and it's just been a great blessing to be able to preach to my Navajo people, especially to the young people.
I'm George Tim. I didn't even know who Jesus was because my background is my grandfather and my mother was Navajo, a really Navajo traditional, and there was on they're serving the as well as mountain, sun, moon, and they were just really believer in tradition. So I was a follower of them. But one day that missionary told me that I was lost, and then told me about Jesus Christ, that he loved me. I never heard about love before, and I do hear the love of that is within the world, but not heavenly love. So he told me about one time, Adam, just one time he told me about the Lord, and it struck my heart. And I almost fell to the ground when he told me about Jesus Christ. Then he left without any other introduction or anything that regarding that Jesus loves. But then I searched for him for 7 days. And one day I came to his house and I asked him, "What are you talking about when you say that there was a love for me?" And he told me, pull up his Bible and the Romans Road. He clearly understandable, and he told me about. So that day I got saved. The Lord saved me, and it really changed my life from fully anticipating the traditional way. And then I used to have a lot of image idol, and I used to live in a 4-bedroom housing, and my two girls they occupy one room, and my two boys would occupy another room, and then my wife and I would occupy another room. But the extra room was full of items. But one day I took those idols to out the mountain, I dug out the grave, and then I had a little bit of a funeral service of the idol, and I cut a little bit of branches from the dry trees, and I made cross, and I put it on the grave, and I walked away, and ever since I never did go back. And I serve the Lord today for over 40 years now.
Again, can you tell us, how old are you now?
78.
78, wow. And how long have you been serving there at First Navajo Church?
For 49
years.
49 years now.
That's great. That's
I used to work at for federal government, and I make a pretty good income, but that didn't mean a thing to me. So I got saved at the day in October. The next following October, I walked away from my job, and I started hanging around with missionary. And then I told him to give me all kinds of lessons. So I was with him for straight 1 year. I was being his student for 1 year, And then the second year, I still staying with him, lesson after lesson, some curriculum from the college. And then on the third year, I told him to turn me loose. I could do the preaching. I used to have uh, 4 Doberman, the dog, and I used to take them up the mountain. I tied them down on the trees, and I used to preach them, and that's how I practiced my preaching. And I told my dog, I said, "You need to get saved because you're a wicked dog." So that's how the ministry all started.
So, how are you all doing? You know, on our news out here, we keep hearing about how bad the pandemic has been among the Navajo people. Can you kind of, one of the questions we're all, I'm sure, curious to hear is how you're doing during this time of pandemic.
So currently, the numbers of this, coronavirus have really hit the Navajo, Brother Colson. We're already up to, I believe, 1,300 cases, 60 dead now. And so the people are not staying home, Adam. And our president is pleading with all his heart, our leaders, police officers, first responders, they are pleading, and we pastors as well are pleading with our people to just stay home and to just listen, because we always ask the question, how many of these people really know the Lord? And if it were to go to them and they don't know the Lord, there's a great, great disaster awaiting them. And it has affected our church very, very hard. We've had to close our church and stop all our activities. We've had to cancel our van routes, and everything is at a standstill right now. But Pastor and I, we continue to pray and just plead with the Lord, the good Lord above, that He will just bring healing. But we just pray that through this pandemic, that we will be able to reopen our church and get a fresh start and be able to witness stronger than ever, Brother Colson.
So it's been hard hitting, and then we haven't seen most of our church member except a phone call. But other than that, we are in the situation that can't visit each other.
So prior to having to close during this quarantine time, I know God was doing a lot of great work there in your church since we visited you the last time in the summer. Can you tell us a little bit about how you've seen God working there at First Navajo Church since our visit this past summer?
So, first of all, I want to say that thank you so much to all of you at Lake of the Woods Church, members, preachers, evangelists, missionaries, all those that are supporting our ministry through Lake of the Woods Church. You all have been just an ultimate blessing. We're so thankful that God sent you all our way. And I still remember, we always talk about Pastor and myself, the first day Adam pulled in, and we thought that we got in trouble. We thought it was a BIA worker, and because at the time, because currently we're still working on our land lease, and so ever since you guys started helping us with our renovation and sports camp, we've saw a great increase in our Sunday school activities. After you guys left, we had received another van, a second van, and we were able to use that van as our children's ministry van. And we started picking up children all over the place in our local area. And some of those children being my own cousins, cousin brothers, cousin sisters, and they love coming to church.
So, Alan, one day we were having trouble with renovating our church, and we just prayed, but suddenly a really nice vehicle showed up, and we knocked at the door, and we opened up, and then we met you, and you give us a lot of encouragement. What I really mean by that is that a missionary, non-Navajo missionary, being sent out in the field where no vision. So when that happened, a missionary, a non-Navajo, would have had all the good things in their life in the big city. Yet, they're concerned about Navajo.
Yes.
So you are one of them, and your family and your church members and your leaders out there, or the board members, you could have enjoyed the beautiful country in Virginia rather than like Navajo reservation, nothing. So when that happened, it's unusual to me, to the Navajo, but you brought a life and the way, the truth, and
the
life.
That's right.
That's open big door. So we will kind of struggle with the getting the young people, but when you came and talked about the lesson and curriculum about how to go about with young people, how to aim them, and how to looking at them and the situation of the way they're growing up. So we use that lesson right away. Maybe about 17 little ones came to our church, and it's growing within our church now.
Breakfast has never tasted so good as breakfast with Christ on the shore. Breakfast will never be better than this, than breakfast with my